Hello and welcome to another episode of the Family Gamers Podcast. This is episode 423.
Hey, hello everybody. We are the Family Gamers, excited once again to bring a podcast to your listening ears this week. Well, let's face it, it's been another busy month. Did you mention Maycember on the show?
I don't remember. I may have. Our May was extra busy because our oldest child graduated from high school.
She did. So, since we're talking about our oldest child, I should talk about who we are. We are the Family Gamers. As always, I'm your host, Andrew, and I'm joined by my lovely and wonderful wife and amazing podcast co-host, Anitra.
That's me.
And we have one fewer child in school, I guess. That's the update.
Yeah.
Yep. So anyway, it's been a crazy month. So we just, you'll hear more about our crazy month when we do the monthly report for the month of May. So we thought we would talk about quick games because these are the games that get to the table at this point.
Most of the time,
yeah.
Yes.
So we have a top quick games. It's kind of a top 10-ish thing.
It's a top 10-ish.
It's the thing
like
that we do. It's the thing that we do. Right. But we're going to talk about that second half of the show. We're going to open the first half of the show with a fact about our episode number, episode 423. Are you ready, Anitra?
Yes. Tell me something about 423.
Okay. 423 is the easiest symmetrical 3-object site swap besides the basic pattern of juggling.
Okay.
The throwing rhythm is right pause right, left pause left, with a 1-beat pause between throws with the same hand. Let me actually explain what that means. So that's like kind of juggling terms. If you ever watch somebody juggle, they're always alternating, like if they're doing regular juggling, they're alternating hands when they throw.
Yes.
So they throw with their right, and then they throw with their left, and they throw with their... Okay. The 4-2-3 is basically an adjustment or a move off of traditional juggling where you double up one hand and then toss across like normal and then double up the other hand. So
okay.
Of that, there are a lot of other variations, but I'm going to try to explain it to you in a way that is maybe easy to visualize. So imagine you have 3 balls you're juggling. Mm-hmm. In your right hand, you just hold a ball, and then in your left hand, you're going back and forth between the two.
Between juggling 2 balls.
Right.
Okay, sure.
Right. And then you throw one of those balls across to your right hand, which was just holding a ball. Mm-hmm. and now in your left hand, you're just holding a ball, and in your right hand, you're juggling 2.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
And that pause. Right. So that's the generic 4-2-3 pattern.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, I've definitely seen jugglers do that.
So usually what you'll see is a juggler juggling, and then it's almost like they just shift the cadence of juggling, and it just looks different, kind of thing.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the 4-2-3. That's what it's called. 4-2-3. So again, even within the concept of the 4-2-3, which is this pause of one of the hands, there's a lot of variations. If you just go to YouTube and look up 4-2-3 juggling, you'll see a bunch of this stuff, and it's YouTube, so you can actually see it instead of listening to me try to explain it. The most common is the 4-2-3-W.
Okay.
So if you want to get specific, look up the 4-2-3-W. It's the exact thing that I explained at the beginning with the right, pause, left, pause thing or whatever it is.
All right.
So yeah, that's my fact. 4-2-3, the juggling variant.
I have a message from our sponsor. As a reminder, we're working through a series where First Move lets us know how they would work with a young couple earning a combined $100,000 with a net worth of around $25,000 and the goals of buying a home and starting a family. An early topic First Move addresses with every client is their emergency fund. In this example, it seems like the couple is at that point where they finally feel like they're making progress, but they haven't saved enough for a home down payment, and they still have some debts hanging out. So one of the first things that First Move would challenge this pretend couple to do is to open a high-interest savings account and start putting a few $100s into it every month. The goal is to build up a small emergency fund, because most emergencies can be handled with $1,000 or less. At the same time, they'll start to get a feel for how much they can reduce their discretionary spending to save and pay down debt. With the money going into savings, it can always be pulled back out. So once they find an amount where they're stretched but still comfortable, they can start paying extra on debts instead, and then make sure their credit score is in a good place to buy a house. If you want to hear more or find out what First Move Financial would recommend for you in your financial situation, set up a free call by going to firstmovefinancial.com/familygamers today.
Thanks so much again to the team at First Move for for being such a great partner to the family gamers. All right, Anisha, so we actually have been playing some games.
A few.
Yeah, it feels like we've been playing more games than we actually have when we look at the hard numbers, and we'll get to that in a little bit, but that's fine.
I think we've been more intentional about playing games, so maybe it feels like more, because right now, if we're not intentional, games don't get played.
It just doesn't happen, right? I mean, maybe that's it. First game I want to talk about is Animal Rescue Team. So we must have played this like right after we recorded the last podcast, because
Pretty
I feel
much.
like it's been a little bit. We played this game 3 players. We played it on one of the easier difficulties. So basically all the basic rules with no handicaps, but the easiest combination of missions.
Yeah, so no handicaps, which the intro is like, do this really basic style and don't do this one thing that would make certain missions harder.
Mhm.
And we do that one additional thing.
Right. So the thing about this game, I mean, it feels, look, it's a Matt Leacock game, so it's not a surprise that it feels like Pandemic, right? But this is a game where like the middle third of the game, you just feel like you're hanging on for dear life.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension in this game, but it's a little uneven,
Mm-hmm.
and in a way that keeps the game really engaging, I think.
I agree. I mean, I don't ever not have fun playing this game. Sometimes there are restrictions that I'm just like, I want to tear my hair out. Like, they're just super annoying. And this is absolutely one of those games where, with some regularity, somebody is just going to have to sacrifice their turn just
to
performing
get
some
stuff in the
operational
right
maintenance
place.
for
Yeah.
other people to actually do the fun stuff. And
Yeah.
that's just fine. I mean, you're a team. It's fine. So this is a game that we're going to be reviewing, I don't know, in the not too distant future. This is something that
Yeah.
we received at PAX Unplugged, and it is something that we are very actively playing and getting ready to review. I would say
Yep.
I'm targeting June for this, maybe July at the absolute latest,
see.
but it's something that we've played a lot of, we have a lot of fun with, and yeah.
Definitely recommending it if you are in the mood for a cooperative game that has a lot of that tension and just a little bit of crunchiness to it, of like, you really all have to work together and like do some planning out of like, okay, you go there and do this, and then I'm going to go there and do this. And together we can make everything work.
But unlike a Pandemic, it's wholesome, right? Because you
Yeah.
are rescuing animals, which is just lovely and wonderful and fun. And it's got a cool toy factor with all the, the motorcycle and the cars and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So a well done game, really all around. That is Animal Rescue Team.
We also played a little bit more Got 5.
You won.
I was shocked. I came into this expecting to lose again, as I have lost to you and Asher every time, because I'm just not quite as efficient. But the way the numbers shook out gave me a very slight advantage.
Fighting chance. And you won.
And I managed to win, and it was great.
There's another game that we are in the middle of reviewing. We actually have the review written for this one. We're just kind of putting everything together.
Mhm.
So I would expect to see this one very, very soon. Got 5. Great game from Blue Orange. Really, really like this game.
Yeah.
Next on the list is Unmatched Stars and Stripes, another game that we have for review that we are playing. This time around, I played as Wyatt Earp, and you played as George Washington.
Yes. And then a couple of days later, I played as John Henry, and Asher played as Wyatt Earp.
So I really liked Wyatt. I liked Wyatt Earp way more than I expected. It very much felt like I was playing this just like insufferable rascal. Because I kept confounding you and the stuff that you were doing. And I would say over the course of the game, you were definitely on your heels a lot. And then you somehow pulled it out at the end. Like, it was like smoke and mirrors, which I suppose
So George
kind of is his
Washington-
thing.
Yeah, he's a
But-
spy master, and like he's being a little bit sneaky and hit you in ways you don't expect him to hit you, I
Mhm.
think is the key. He's not sneaky like Sherlock Holmes, where it's like, let me figure out what's in your hand. This is really just there's some misdirection involved
Right.
with George Washington. And I actually really like that with him.
I loved it. I thought it was a great game of Unmatched.
And it was incredibly close with you and me.
Yeah. Like, I would say you were... Like, I had you on your heels until you killed me. Like that. I mean, there's no other way to put it, right?
Well, and I was kind of grasping at straws near the end, where I was
Right.
like, if I can't make this work, I'm done for.
Yeah. I would have killed you on the next turn for sure.
Speaking of which, when I played John Henry against Wyatt Earp, our son just continued to hit me and hit me and hit me. And even though John Henry could go halfway across the board, since Wyatt Earp and his sidekick Doc Holliday are ranged, they were rarely more than 2 steps, a single movement away from somewhere they could hit me again.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. It was not nearly as close of a game.
Okay.
So.
The next game we played was Compile Main 2.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the second larger box, I guess is the best way to say it.
It's the sequel to Compile Main 1.
Yeah, I mean, here's the interesting thing about this, right? So Compile Main 1 comes out, they announce an auxiliary pack for that, and then Compile Main 2 comes out. I don't remember if they've announced an aux 2, but they've
I feel
now
like there's something.
announced Compile Main 3, and the interesting thing about Main 3 is that Main 3 comes with a solo mode. Main 2 didn't really introduce any dramatically new mechanics. It just had another 12 protocols in the box.
According to Board Game Geek, there is an aux 2.
Okay. Well, we probably should pick that up.
You know.
I'll buy all of the Compile stuff.
We'll see what we can do.
I feel like we need the Compile big box.
It might not
already.
be available in the US.
No,
frankly.
maybe that's it. But anyway, so we played more Compile. Another really great game with a ton of back and forth.
Yeah.
You and
Yeah.
I had a really good time playing Compile Main 2. I was Peace, Clarity, and something else. I don't even remember anymore, but it was a really good time. We traded blows back and forth. We deleted stuff and canceled stuff and flipped stuff and moved things around, and it was fun.
You were Peace, Clarity, and Mirror.
Oh, sure. Yeah,
Mirror
yeah.
was really helpful for you.
Mhm.
I was Courage, Fear, and Chaos, which, Courage and Fear being more or less opposites of each other actually complement each other really well.
Sure. So those were the 4 games that I played in the last 2 weeks. So you've got 2 more games on here. You wanna talk about?
Well, I also played more Compile Main 2 with Asher as well.
Mhm.
My game with Asher was not nearly as close as my game with you. So once again, Asher just smoking me at everything. And I pulled that out after getting smoked in the other 2 games that I played with him. I asked him to play a game. I'm like, pick anything you want. And he's like, well, you pick. And I started throwing out suggestions, looking at the game shelves, and specifically looking at ones that are quote unquote his games that he enjoys. And so we ended up playing Tiny Ninjas together for the first time in like 5 or 6 years. And honestly, I forgot how complete Tiny Ninjas feels.
Okay.
For anyone who has not listened to our reviews way back when, this was a snap review back in, I think, 2020. Tiny Ninjas is a card game that's a battling game with dice rolls for damage. The idea is the attacker can attack one card at a time as many times as they want. And when they decide to stop attacking, then you switch roles. The other player becomes the attacker. The first player becomes the defender. But you only draw cards at the beginning of your attack phase. So the first step is that you're always balancing out how much do I want to attack and how many cards do I want to leave for defense. The second thing is that every single card is themed slightly and will do different kinds of damage and different amounts of damage. There's red damage, blue damage, and then for defense, there's red, blue, or both. Both the attacks and the defenses often require a die roll. There are 2 different dice. Each of the 2 dice works in 2 different ways. These are all indicated on the cards. It's fine. But the cards are themed really well. It's just a lot of really quick back and forth, but you have to think hard about what cards you're playing, why, what you're saving, what you're attacking with, etc. It's really nice in that it does not take a very long time, but it's thinky, and when you're done with the game, it feels complete. It doesn't feel like you were missing something or it went too quickly. It's just great. There's one additional feature that makes this game really awesome. It is just cards and dice, so it's a fairly small game, but rather than being in your typical double deck box, it's in a box that's a little bit larger, and it unfolds to become a dice tray, which they call the arena, and 2 spots, one for a draw pile, one for a discard pile, because the draw and the discard are shared between the 2 players. So it becomes incredibly portable. This is actually a great game to play like in a car back seat with 2 people. Everything about this game is just really well designed. Sadly, we couldn't say the same thing about the sequel to Tiny Ninjas, but the original Tiny Ninjas we love, and I was really happy to be reminded why we loved it.
Sure. No, it's great.
The other game that we pulled out to play a little bit longer was Mission to Planet Hex. We've also played that one more recently. It's just goofy, and you generally spend the first half of the game with no idea who's going to win, and the second half where it becomes pretty obvious unless you can sabotage somebody. But it's goofy and fun, so still enjoyable.
Awesome. Every time you guys play that game, you're laughing hysterically, and I really appreciate that. So great job to the Mission to Planet Hex team.
Jim Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. I don't remember the publishing company name. Whatever.
Move
That's fine.
Rate 20.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Move Rate 20. That sounds right. All right. Yeah, that is the games that we've been playing. So we are kind of at the end of May. Technically, today is May 29th, but by the time you all hear this, it's going to be June 1st. So
we might get one more game
maybe,
in.
yeah, maybe. But for all intents and purposes, this is our monthly report for the month of May. Mine is, it's a month. My H-index is 1. I played 9 games one time.
One time each.
Yep.
Okay, so 9 games played 9 times.
Yep. 56% in restaurants and also about the same percentage 2-player. So just you in restaurants and you and Asher at home.
Fair enough.
Pretty much.
I played 12 different games, a total of 17 times. I get an H-index of 2. There are actually 4 games that I played at least twice. As previously mentioned, Unmatched and Compile Main 2 are in there, but also S'mores Galore Roast and Write, mostly for the purposes of getting the pictures done for our review, and Adventurous, which was also partially to get the pictures done for an upcoming review. So,
Yeah.
that's how these things go these days.
Mm-hmm.
But we still had fun, and slightly over half of my games were played at 2 players, and about a quarter were solo.
So yeah, I mean, not great. I mean, with lower numbers, there's just not a lot of interesting slicing and dicing we can do with the statistics of it all.
Yeah.
I think after we do the June monthly report, we'll do like a half year monthly
Maybe.
report and kind of catch up a little bit on the whole half year.
I'm going to call it right now. June is going to be better.
I thought we said that about May.
No, but I really do mean it for June. We will be a little bit less busy. We won't play a lot of games when we go away for a week, but other than the week that we're away, I think we will have time to play games.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. At this point, I think it is the right time to welcome the new members of the Family Gamers community. We've got 5 people in our list
Yeah, let's do
that
that.
we'd like to say hello to. I'm going to start us off by saying welcome to Cynthia.
Welcome to Jeff.
I thought Jeff was in the community already.
I did too.
So I'm a little confused about that, but that's okay. Welcome to Amanda.
Welcome to Sarah.
And welcome to Alex. We have a cat. I think this must be a video of a cat that was like reversed. Like that's got to be what's
maybe.
happening here, right? Like
Maybe.
somebody put
Glasses on the
sunglasses
cat.
on a cat and the cat knocked them off his face and they recorded all of that and then reversed it. So it looks like the cat's putting sunglasses on.
But I like it.
Yeah.
Cat just like, he looks like he's putting the sunglasses on. He's like, I'm ready.
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
All right, I dig it. Anyway, if you want to see that cat, head over to the Family Gamers community on Facebook. To go to facebook.com, search for the Family Gamers community. If you're already in it, it's going to be in your groups. Say hello to Cynthia, Jeff, Amanda, Sarah, and Alex.
And you can be as cool as that cat.
And sure, everybody wants to be a cat.
Let's also do a little bit of back talk.
Sure.
Last time we asked about if there are games that you won't let yourself buy.
Mhm.
And we got a few responses on the Discord.
Yeah, we got one response on the Facebook page, but that was really just you kind of seeding the responses, and
it didn't work.
somebody liked the post, which is something. But here's what you said. I mentioned on the podcast that even though I love inexpensive small box games, I won't let myself buy any more of the Paco games from Perplexed. I've enjoyed the ones I've tried, but all of them are competitive, never solo games. When I buy them, they never get played. They just don't work for our family, I guess.
They just don't work for us.
Mhm.
That's okay.
All right, talk to me about Discord.
On the Discord, Peter Schott says he won't buy Ticket to Ride Legacy. He says, I think we'd like it, but it just wouldn't get played. Same for Legacy of Mars. I'm suspecting the upcoming Wheel of Time game would fit in that boat as well, although so far I'm really intrigued. Peter, be careful. If it's not going to get played, it doesn't make sense to buy.
JP DeCoste says, I'm always excited at the prospect of a legacy game, but I always hesitate to pull the trigger because I've rarely been able to actually finish them, and they're often tricky to hand off to someone else after a game or two have been completed.
Fair.
I totally feel this. I am playing Pandemic Legacy Season 0 with a couple of guys. I think it's been 3 years. We're literally on December.
Yeah, I think the last time you guys played together was maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh man, we're so close. We're almost done. And then life has gotten busy.
Yep.
It's like all of you have teenagers and responsibilities
Yep.
and, you
Yeah.
have to
Yeah,
chauffeur people.
We just can't seem to get together. Maybe this summer. Who knows?
The Joyful Jedi says, if I want a game that much, I'm in the fortunate position to just be able to get it. But on the flip side, he also says, I definitely have way, way, way too many games in my house that don't get played. I bought them with the thought that they would be the pathway to making memories, but most just sit on shelves, or are in the closet, or are on the floor. And the floor is when you know you really have a problem. And they're just waiting for someone to play them. So, unfortunately, they just take up space. He says he's been a purchasing fool in this hobby.
Don't be so down on yourself, Joyful Jedi. You're the one who brings us joy. And now, I mean, man, we love you, man. We appreciate you.
We appreciate the struggle. Want to encourage you that it can get easier. It can. And acknowledging you have a problem is the first step.
Is the first step, yeah. All right. Ken Walter says, I tend to learn the hard way and go all in on a game early. I have started waiting to play a game at a game cafe before buying games to help me from just buying something I think I will like. I generally avoid legacy games because we just don't play as a family consistently enough, and then they just sit half finished.
There's a common thread there.
Yeah. So remember I was talking about Tidal Blades 2, and Tidal Blades 2 it's not a legacy game, it's a campaign game, but it definitely has a story that you're progressing through.
Yeah.
And I specifically said one of the things that was great about it is that you could drop a player for a scenario.
For a session or two, yeah.
Or two.
And catch them up.
And then kind of catch them up.
Sure.
You might house rule a thing or two, or maybe not if it's only one session or whatever, but because each scenario is set up individually based on player count, you actually could flex a little bit. And both people who have said that they've struggled with legacy games, this is kind of the reason, right? Well, I've started with 3 players. I got to keep going with 3 players. Sometimes you can.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, there are games that still support this kind of idea without the rigidity of player count.
Well, and generally speaking, a campaign game that is not explicitly a legacy game will have a way to reset, and start again from the beginning, or like you said, temporarily add a player or drop a player and not have it absolutely wreck the progress you've made thus far.
I think you could do it with a legacy game too. I do. I just think that you'd have to very specifically keep that as a key, mechanical
open.
Option,
yeah.
Open as you play to say, if somebody couldn't make it, this is what you do with them.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Our last response on the Discord is, so then Rob said, he says, my group I get to play games with the most often prefer pretty straightforward titles. Long Shot the Dice game might be the heaviest game that we've gotten to the table. Lost Ruins of Arnak, Clank, and Spooktacular are 3 I'm hopeful to be able to play with this group one day. But I already know it'll take some convincing.
Okay, but I don't know. Like, are these games that he's hopeful he'll be able to play with them so he hasn't bought them yet, but he will?
I don't know.
So, yeah, I mean, look, this was kind of a weird question, right? Like, I mean, this is the internal struggle of every board gamer who maybe doesn't want to be a full-blown collector, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I thought it would be interesting to kind of plumb those steps. What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting.
So we're going to have another Backtalk question at the end of this show. And if you're paying attention, you'll probably be able to figure out what it is. But, you'll hear that a little bit later. For now, I think we will take a quick break. It's going to be a quick break. Do you know why it's going to be a quick break, Anitra?
Because when we come back, we're going to talk about our top 10-ish quick games.
That's true. We will quickly be right back.
And we're back.
Hello. All right, so we are going to spend some time talking about some quick games. Our schedule has been crazy. I feel like we always say that our schedule's been crazy, but
our schedule's been crazy for a long time. It's
I had an H-index of 1 this month. And so these are the times when we look at some games. Like, if we've got to get some gaming in because it's a part of the fabric of our life, we have to play some games. Like, we just have to. And we want to play, obviously, with our kids and just kind of get in and get out. And maybe if we're going to go out to eat, maybe something that we can bring with us that's going to be quick there, or what it might be. We wanted to focus on some quick games because right now we're taking whatever we can get. And it's been a couple of years since we did a podcast specifically about quick games, about good quick games. We knew that the list would change because good quick games come out all the time.
Yep.
And so I thought it was time to come back to this one because maybe we needed the reminder of all of the great games that are out there that can be played really, really quickly.
Yeah, honestly, sitting down to make this list, there was a lot of where I was like, oh, hey, it's been quite a while since we played that, but it's a great quick game.
Yeah. Or I would add something and you would be like, oh, I remember that game. I didn't even think of it. Or you would add something. I'm like, I didn't think of that game either. So a lot of really good stuff in this list.
So let's get started. Our first recommendation is going to be Trio.
Yeah, this is an unordered list, as we do. I guess it's ordered in order of remembrance. So,
however, I think Trio should be number 1. on the list.
I mean, Trio's number one for a lot of reasons, for a lot of different lists. It is the first one on this list. Not that it's the best quick game, but because it's a great one, and we come back to it a lot.
Yeah, well, it accommodates anywhere between 3 and 6 players. It's still going to be under 15 minutes, even at 6 players. It's really quick to teach, and it's engaging. We keep coming back to it over and over again. So all of those things together, I think, make it a really good choice.
Right. And I think Happy Camper did a good enough job with the graphic design in this that it's got visual interest from people who don't really understand what's going on.
Yes.
But you can pretty easily, because of the style of game that it is, explain, really quickly what's up. Right?
Yeah. For a numbers on cards game, it's both very beautiful and very clear what goes together and what doesn't, which
Right.
is pretty great. Our next suggestion would be Similo. This is another one that's really easy to teach. It's actually been quite a while since we've played this as a family, but a single game of Similo should not take more than 15 minutes and will probably take less. This is a cooperative game where one person has a card in mind on the grid, and that's their secret card that they are trying to give clues to get everybody else to narrow down and eventually guess the one correct card.
Yeah, I mean, I love this game, and I love the art in this game, and I love a lot of things about this game, and it is very simple, but it's a little bit harder to explain to people, so it doesn't have quite that... I mean, I think it's maybe because Trio is a game with numbers on cards, and so that's something that just translates very quickly for people, and then something like Similo, which is pictures, just makes it a little bit more difficult automatically.
Well, and it's more difficult because someone is picking a secret card and then trying to figure out how to give clues, so unless you know the person really well, you're not necessarily going to be on the right wavelength to get the clues that they're giving.
Right, that's true.
But still an excellent choice. What's our next one, Andrew?
So the next game on the list is Floristry, which is a game we talk about all the time. This is a game I recommended to a friend last week. They picked up a copy, and they very much enjoyed playing it as well.
Hooray!
Floristry, of course, is a 2-player Dutch auction game with, set collection, I guess is the way that you would call it. I mean, you have your own board, so it's not area control. Tile placement, set collection kind of thing, where you're just trying to make the largest areas of the various different types of flowers in order to get points.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I call it the Aldi of board games, right? Because it does its very specific thing, and if that very specific thing works for you, you're going to love it.
Yeah. Note, Floristry is only for 2 players, but if you play a lot of 2-player games and you would like a speedy one, this one is great. Next is a fairly new game, although I do think we've talked about it on a couple of podcasts already. This is Got 5. Got 5 is another game that should not take more than 15 minutes, even at 4 players, unless somebody is just dragging their feet and like, oh, well, I could do this or I could do this. If you play according to the rules, pick a tile, grab a number, ask your specific question about it. Okay, now you have information to work with. Like, the turns are really fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a game that is a perfect information game. So even if you do lose your attention for a little bit, like you can self-correct while everybody else is doing their turns, and you're doing your deduction while everybody else is doing their actions, right? So you can be thinking. You don't need to get information and then think and then
do a thing.
Do a thing or, air quote, release your turn, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to do that. You can do the thinking while other people are playing, and that makes this game go incredibly quickly. It also has just enough personality with the eyes on the tiles, which is a silly thing to say, but it's true.
It is.
And it's just fun. I mean, I think we played it, 4 times in a row one night?
Yes.
Yeah.
Another very fast game that does get pulled out quite a lot at our house is Quarto. So this is part of the Gigamic Abstract Games series. Quarto is probably our favorite of all of those that we've played. Quarto feels kind of tic-tac-toe-ish, except that you're not only sharing the board, you're also sharing the pieces. Every piece has 4 different attributes. Is it tall? Is it short? Circle or square? Has a hole in it or solid? And light or dark. The goal of the game is for both players, they're trying to make a line of 4 somewhere on the board where for one of those 4 attributes, all 4 things are the same. So a line where everything is light colored, or a line where everything is short, or a line where everything is a circle, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
On your turn, you place the piece that you have received, and then you pick a piece from what's left to give to your opponent. So it's incredibly thinky, but it's a very quick back and forth. And for us, games usually are under 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing I think about Quarto is that when you select a piece to play and a piece to give, you kind of have to think in advance a little bit to make sure that you're not handing off the piece that is going to then immediately turn around and allow your opponent to win or set themselves up really easily to win.
Yeah.
So it's a good thinky one. And it looks great. I mean, all of these Gigamic games with the white boxes look fantastic.
Yeah.
Next one on the list is Fiver Findin'. This one's a little bit older. This one was from Haba.
Yep.
Fiver Findin' is a really interesting game. I think it goes up to 4 players.
Yes.
Where each player has a tile with a bunch of symbols on it in a grid. It's like a 15 by 15 grid or something like that. It doesn't really matter. And the goal of the game is to create polyomino shapes that contain the images on the dice that you roll. So everybody has the same dice that they're trying to put together. They have the same playing field on their individual board, and they're trying to find the patterns the fastest. If I remember correctly, once somebody has found 5 patterns, they say they're done, and then everybody has like 1 minute left.
Yeah, you basically flip a timer and everybody else gets that much time to try to finish up and find enough shapes.
Mm-hmm.
There are 4 different point values for the different shapes, which kind of correspond to a difficulty level. So being first does not necessarily win you the round, although I think it does give you a bonus point or something like that.
Yes. And then like the last round is worth twice as many points, which is kind of game breaking if you ask me. But, you know, it is a great fun game. Everybody's thinking at the same time. You're simultaneously playing. So it's really, really quick. And I think the way it works is one side of all of the tiles are identical and the flip side is different for everybody. So if you're playing on the identical side, you can look and see where people found different things. And then, you know, it sort of has some of that like self-correction, self-learning as you go kind of baked into the game, which is kind of neat. Yeah.
It can be played in a turn-based format as well. That definitely is slower, less likely that you would finish an entire game in 15 minutes. But the normal one where everyone plays simultaneously, I mean, there are 5 rounds, and generally a round is not going to take you more than 3 minutes. So that's about right.
True. Yep. And I think it's more fun that way anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Next game on the list is Drop It. We talk about this game a lot. It's actually been a while since we've talked about Drop It on the show.
Yeah, but I still love it.
But it is a great game. So Drop It can be played 2, 3, or 4 players. This is a vertical board that is clear. It's got kind of a gap. Think Connect 4, sort of.
Yeah.
There's these diagonal lines that go across it that represent the different levels. And so as it gets higher, each piece that you drop in is going to be worth more points. There's little spots that if your piece overlaps with these spots on the vertical tower, you're going to get additional points for those as well. And then there's restrictions on the bottom and on the sides for colors or shapes, depending on which one you pick, can't touch in certain places. In addition to that, the goal is that when you drop a piece, it doesn't touch another piece of the same color or the same shape.
Correct.
And if any of those touch things happens, that piece doesn't score you any points. So this is a fantastic game with great table presence. I mean, it's very simple. Everybody has, I think, if you're playing 4 players, 6 pieces or 7 pieces, something along those lines. And you're going around and taking turns, dropping them in, and then moving a token on a score counter. And that's it. That's the whole game.
Yeah. For anyone who hears this description and says, well, but it seems like some people might have a much harder time dropping pieces in and actually scoring points, there's also a built-in way to handicap and basically give not a mulligan, but like a token that somebody can hand in and say, no, I'm turning in this token so that this otherwise invalid placement will still be worth points.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The Jokers. All right. And one more from me before it goes back to Anitra is Kirai the Duel. So this is a game that came from Lucky Duck. It was published by Lucky Duck. This is a 2-player samurai-based dueling game, which uses cards for the duel. And the interesting thing about this game is that it's sort of a deduction game, right? Where you are trying to make sure that you are lined up against your opponent at the correct time to be able to attack them with an upper slash or lower slash. And your opponent may or may not be defending an upper or a lower like slash, or has moved back, so any kind of slash would like miss them. And so it's this kind of back and forth deduction game where you're just trying to hit your opponent twice before they hit you twice.
Yeah. You have very few cards in this game, and we've generally found that an entire game is done in fewer than 10 turns for sure, usually more like 5. So very, very fast.
Yes. So of those 8 games, we have reviewed all of them. Well, we haven't published the review for Got 5 yet, but that's coming very soon.
Very soon.
So If any of those games sound interesting to you, just go to thefamilygamers.com and search for the name of the game: Trio, Similo, Floristry, Got 5, Quarto, Fiver Finden, Drop It, Kiri-I. That is KIRI-AI. All of those games have reviews at thefamilygamers.com.
And all of them will be linked in the show notes for this podcast.
Yep, you can do that too.
Number 9 is, unsurprisingly, also a game that we've reviewed.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we actually reviewed this one, which is why I said this now, but sure. Number 9
we did.
also.
That's actually why we ever played this game in the first place.
Okay.
And it was a breakout hit for our family.
Mm-hmm.
This is Get the MacGuffin. So all the rest of these games have been, 2 players or 3 or 4. Trio goes up to 6. Get the MacGuffin is anywhere from 2 to 12 players.
This is our party game in the Quick Games series.
It's not exactly a party game, but it's super goofy. It feels very similar to Flux in a lot of ways, in that a lot of cards get played that don't really do much, or do something that maybe you don't even like, but it was the only card you had left to play.
Sure.
But it has a defined endpoint from the very beginning of the game, unlike Flux. So Get the MacGuffin is going to end when most people have run out of cards, and you start with a pretty limited hand, and there's never really opportunities to draw more. So you're just going around the table playing cards. All of them describe what they do. The goal of the game is to be the last person standing, which is usually done through use of the card, the MacGuffin.
Yep.
This has been a great restaurant game for us because it's just one deck of tarot-sized cards, doesn't take up a ton of space on the table, and you just shuffle, deal out, and start playing cards.
Yeah, it's super inexpensive too. There are a couple of expansions that I think we've, at this point, gotten all of them.
Picked up at least a couple.
Yep, but it's very easy to understand. It's super quick. We play with my mom, who is a video gamer, but not really much of a board gamer, and we all have a really good time.
Yeah.
All right, so that is 9 games. We kind of flew through those pretty quick, but again, you can find out all about all of them on thefamilygamers.com. Before we talk about game number 10, let's talk about some things that these games that we talked about kind of have in common. And the reason for that is so that if none of these games strike your fancy, but you're still looking for a quick game, what are the kinds of attributes you can look for or maybe identify to believe that they would be a good fit for a quick game?
Yeah, and a couple of these games are out of print.
Sure.
So first of all, I think either simultaneous turns or very simple turns are pretty key here.
Yeah, I think the example here that would be contrary to that, which still works because of the nature of the game, is Got 5. And I kind of talked about that before. Your turns are not simultaneous, but the actions that you're performing are asynchronous. And so when you're doing the process of thinking and deduction, it's somebody else's turn, but you're still doing something, but it's not the mechanics of the game, right? It's all of the stuff that goes into allowing you to win the game.
Yeah, it's sort of your turn itself is very short and very simple. And then while you're waiting for it to come back around to your turn, you are both paying attention to what's on the table and working to sift the data you already have to try to make better choices on your next turn and deduce what your numbers are.
Right. Like that's a thing that happens in many games, right?
Yes.
Is working through what your strategy is going to be. But here it is far more specifically tied to the solution to the game, right? And so it's not as deep or abstracted out from the end game as it is for most strategy games, right?
Yeah.
Because like this is the thing you have to, like you could play a complicated game without an overlying strategy. Right.
Yes, I have, in fact.
Yeah, you can just play a game. Like the first time we play anything that's complicated, it's like, I don't know, this is the learning game. We're just figuring it out as we go.
I don't know, this seems like it might be fun.
But you really can't do that. Like that's the point of Got 5 is all of that stuff that's under the covers, right?
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, why I'm trying to draw the distinction between the two.
I think that also pulls me towards one of the other things most of these games have in common, which is in Got 5, although you're doing that deduction and strategizing between turns, you need to pay attention on everyone else's turn and not just on your own.
Because you're getting information.
And that is true with just about all of these. Maybe not quite so much with Get the MacGuffin and Drop It. Like you could drop in on your turn and say, oh, I'm going to do this next.
Yeah, just play it pure tactically.
But for all of these other games, a bunch of it is happening kind of in your head the whole time. And so you stay engaged because you need to be thinking about what your opponents are doing, what information they've revealed, what that means for what they might play next. that keeps everybody engaged and also keeps the game moving.
You know, one thing that's really interesting that technically does appear in one of these games, but is notably absent from games, given that we're talking about quick games, is the idea of a timer to limit the length of a turn.
Yes.
Right? So
Yes.
Five Refined has the, okay, I'm done, everybody else has 1 minute. The game that really features a timer the most is Floristry, and that's for the Dutch auction of it all.
Yes.
But there really isn't a game in this top 9 that bounds your time.
Right.
Which is really interesting, because like there was that game that was like the 1 minute island game. I don't remember.
60-second city.
No, not 60-second city. There was a different
Panic
one.
Island.
Panic Island. That's the one. That's a game. Well, both of those are games that have defined like your turn is a minute long. Go, 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 go. Or even a game like Kites or Skyrockets.
Yeah.
Like those games are the same kind of thing where like literally what you're doing is just trying to hold off the sand timers. Those are quick games too, but these are games that like the quick nature of them is really like an emergent quality of the game, as opposed to it being a mechanic that is applied as part of the process. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think Five Refined is explicitly a race. So even if you didn't have a timer, it would still have that slightly frantic.
Well, I mean, so is
real-time
Floristry,
feel.
right? Like that's, I mean, Dutch auction is like a strategic race.
But yeah, the rest of these, it's just that the turns are incredibly simple.
Mhm.
And so you don't spend a bunch of time sitting there and thinking and, oh, what do I do? And you're not moving a bunch of pieces around. None of that.
So specifically, the turn is a very limited decision set.
Yes.
And that's, I think, like Got 5, you're choosing a tile.
Mhm.
It's one of 5 tiles, and you are choosing one of 2 things to do with that tile. And that's it. That's your turn.
Yeah.
And then it moves on to the next person's turn. And then all of that thinking and planning and cogitation and
Yep.
deduction and all that
Yep.
stuff happens while other people are going through the motions of their turn. And that really just speeds things up and makes it better for everybody. Whereas a game like Get the MacGuffin, you have 5 cards in your hand or something along those lines. And
At
that's
most,
pretty
you
much
usually
it.
have less than that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And so there's just not a lot to do. Drop it. You actually have, out of all of these games, maybe the most options. You have like 8 things to choose from at the beginning of the game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I agree.
But fundamentally, like it's a dexterity game. And so like what you're doing, you're kind of committing to a piece. Like, I mean, we've all seen somebody go like, oh, I'm going to, no, I'm going to, oh, I'm not, no, I'm going to, but I mean, what is that? 15 seconds? You know what I mean? Like it's not the kind of thing where like you just have analysis paralysis,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's totally different.
And then I think the other thing that all of these games have in common that some of those timer-based games don't have
Mhm.
is that for any of these, when we're talking about 15 minutes or less, you will play a complete game in that amount of time. You
Sure.
should not feel rushed to get through it in that amount of time.
Mhm.
And you also won't feel like you were cheated out of something. A lot of games that use a timer may be great games, but you'll hit the end and you're like, oh, if only we had 15 more seconds, or if only I could do this, or if only I could do that. And I never feel that way really about any of these games. There are, I wish I had made that decision differently, but it's never, I just needed more. I
Right.
needed more time. I needed more turns, whatever. It's usually not that.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great perspective on it. It's a satisfying experience.
Yes, exactly.
Mhm. All right, so that's kind of the thought process that we applied to these. And so now for number 10, we're going to do the thing we do. We set at the top 10-ish, right? I mean, we always do this. Anyway, we have 3 games for number 10.
3 games at number 10.
At number 10.
Yes.
Of course, the number doesn't even matter. It's just these 3 games are different. I said Get the MacGuffin was the party game. Actually, these 3 games are the party games
Yes.
of our list. And the reason why we put them together and why they count as one thing is because they're the same general idea of game. And they all generally are structured in the same way. And they're also different from all of the other games,
Yes.
but they kind of cover different topics. So like some of the way in which they apply this general party game strategy that's quick is different.
So these are all social activity games.
Yeah.
Not really winner or loser, just kind of enjoy the process of working this out as a group.
Right. They're very much the kinds of games where if there is a winner or loser, you kind of don't really care.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Anitra, why don't you list those 3
Sure.
games?
So the 3 sort of social party games that we chose for this spot are Person Do Thing, Chit Chat, and Smug Owls. So Person Do Thing is a cooperative game where one person at a time is giving clues with a very limited vocabulary. and everybody else is trying to guess what their secret word is.
Mhm.
Chit Chat is a game where you are pulling cards from a deck. All of them have number answers to these trivia question type things. And as a group, you are trying to get them into the right order. And Smug Owls is the most competitive of these three.
Mhm.
Smug Owls is a riddle generating game. The deck of cards generates the riddles, and then everybody tries to come up with answers. That ends up very apples to apples style of literally everyone is trying to come up with an answer to the riddle. You set your hand on the table or smack your hand on the table when you have an answer, and then the last person to come up with an answer becomes the judge
Mhm.
for that round.
Mhm.
Smug Owls can be competitive, but we usually play it in a very just friendly way of like, let's see what we've got and appreciate everyone else's cleverness.
Yeah,
In
we all snap fingers like beatniks. It's a good time.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
No, but it does have, there was a game, Poetry Slam, that we reviewed a million years ago that very much leans into that, right?
Yeah.
You're giving clues in rhyming couplets. Like, it's a whole thing.
Yeah. That one we would not recommend. That one took forever.
Yeah, I loved
was
everything
hard.
about that game except for the structure of the game made it difficult to play.
Yeah.
Right. This is a game that leans into that like appreciation of the cleverness of the answers
Yes.
thing, which is the best part.
Which is the best part of that game. And
Yeah.
Smug Owls does it in such a simple, easy to comprehend way.
Yep. I really love all three of these games for kind of different reasons. I think Chit Chat is probably the one that is most clearly a cooperative social experience,
Yes.
but all
I
three
think
of
so.
them are just excellent. And just the joy of solving the riddle of person do thing, both the riddle of trying to explain it in simple words and also the riddle of trying to figure out what the person is trying to say with the simple words to explain
Yes,
the thing that's on
both
the card.
sides.
Both riddles are fun.
Yeah.
So that makes them really, really great, and why we put all three of these together as a number 10, because they are kind of this community social experience that we're calling a game.
And you can stop playing these at any point.
Mhm.
Chit Chat has a defined round structure, but a single round of Chit Chat should only take you about 10 minutes. The rest of these, you just keep going around the table until you want to be done.
I mean, I would even go so far as to say with Chit Chat, you can just be like, yeah, we did 4 of them. Let's just see how we ranked with those and move on. Like,
Sure.
you don't
Yeah.
even have to
You don't
do the
have
full
to. Yeah.
13 or whatever it is. So
10
it doesn't matter.
maybe?
I
I
don't
don't
even know. It doesn't matter. So that's our list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I have one more thing. Literally one. Like one player.
I see.
So I've actually been playing fewer short solo games these days.
Mhm.
When I'm playing a solo game, it's usually more involved, which is weird for me, but it is what it is. If you are looking for a quick solo game to play, just you by yourself, I can recommend a bunch, many of which I've reviewed on thefamilygamers.com. But ones that I would gravitate toward include A Gentle Rain, A Nice Cuppa, Food Chain Island, which I have not reviewed, but that's a button shy game, Grove, and Adventurous, which should have a review out soon. All of these I can play in under 15 minutes without feeling rushed or like, oh no, I just have this one more thing I need to do, but my time's up. These are all the kind of games I would bring with me to play during my kid's piano lesson or other circumstances like that.
Cool. Yeah. Every once in a while, I will pull out a board game and play solo.
Yes.
But my solo gaming is typically video game stuff. So
Mine has begun to lean that way as well, just because it kind of lets me turn off my brain in a way that solo board games usually don't.
totally agree. Welcome to my life.
So that's it for our list of 10-ish quick games. As a quick review, we have Trio, Similo, Floristry, Got 5, Quarto, Fiver Findin', Drop It, Curii the Duel, and Get the MacGuffin. Then number 10, the social games are Person Do Thing, Chit Chat, and Smug Owls.
The number 10s.
And there are lots of good, quick solo games. If you're interested, there'll be a list in the show notes, or you can just go to thefamilygamers.com/tag/solo.
All right, so we teased, of course, as we usually do. It's not even a tease at this point that there would be a new Backtalk question. I guess my tease was you could probably figure out what it is. And if you guessed, does your family play any super short games and what are they? You are correct.
I mean, I feel like that makes sense.
Yeah. So, of course, you can tell us on the Backtalk channel on the Family Tabletop Discord, or you can head over to the Facebook community, thefamilygamers.com/community, to answer the question that Anisha is going to post in the community.
If people wanted to find you and me elsewhere online, where could they go, Andrew?
They could go just about anywhere that, we consider social media these days. Our handle is at Family Gamers AA for Andrew and Anitra. You can find us on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, Blue Sky, Threads, and YouTube at Family Gamers AA.
You could also join the Family Tabletop community on Discord. Get an invite by going to thefamilygamers.com/Discord. Or if you're in the Facebook community, we will welcome you on the next podcast. Get there by going to thefamilygamers.com/community or just look for The Family Gamers on Facebook.
Mm-hmm. All right. Of course, you can always email us if you have questions. Andrew at thefamilygamers.com.
Anitra at thefamilygamers.com.
Please don't forget to subscribe to the show, tell your friends about the show, and leave us a review at Apple Podcast or whatever your podcast subscription source is. We promise we read all of them, every single word of every single one.
Mm-hmm.
You can also find us on Amazon Music, TuneIn, Spotify, and YouTube Music.
Whew. Music for the Family Gamers podcast is provided with permission by You Bred Raptors. And the Family Gamers is sponsored by First Move Financial. Go to firstmovefinancial.com/familygamers and learn how the team at First Move Financial can help you pile up the victory points.
Thanks, as always, to the team at First Move for partnering with the Family Gamers. Anitra.
Yes.
We should quickly go.
Do you maybe have time for a quick game?
I think I could carve out some time for a quick game.
All right, let's go do it.
So until next week, everybody, play games with your kids.